What is going on, collective? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Adam Raw. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Um yeah. So I had to start my video over because my phone died, unfortunately, and I am way too lazy to edit it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm too lazy to edit it today. I really don't feel like editing it today. So basically, today, I'm going to, pull a card, do a card reading today. You know, I've been trying to like hang off or chill on the card reading for a reason, and I know there's a lot of people that come specifically for that, and that's fine. But the reason why I kind of like took a break and started doing other stuff is because when you tap into those kind of energies, it's really easy to like absorb that energy off of, you know what I'm saying? Because essentially the tarot, like when you do the readings and stuff like that, it's kind of like channeling the energy anyway, right? So let's say if you're channeling an energy and you want to get out of it, or it's not a good energy and stuff like that, some people it take a little while to get that energy off. Others it comes off instantly. It all varies sometimes, right? So basically, I just personally got tired of that same energy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, I just kind of got tired of it. It was just like it was all saying the same thing. Like the person was attacking you. They're going through this. They're gonna get it. God is gonna come and get them. And I kind of got tired of all of that. So today, what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. Today, we're going to see what God wants us to do today, right? This is going to be a message from God and stuff, right? All right, so this is the overall energy or message right here. And it has to do with the Master Jesus. This has to do with Jesus Christ. He came right out, right? This has to do with forgiveness and stuff like that. And, one thing I had to learn about forgiveness is like, forgiveness is designed to not be easy at all. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, for those of you, there's more to, I guess, if you're genuinely going to forgive somebody, I would say, it's worth the difficulty, but I would say that my biggest obstacle to forgiveness for certain people, or for people in general, or for different things, I will say the biggest obstacle in my spiritual journey when it came to forgiveness had to be when you know that you were in the 100% right and somebody was in the 100% wrong, and getting them back is going to put you in a worse position than if you let it go. Because what happens is one thing I had to learn with this spiritual journey is like, just like I have been spiritually attacked for about 10 years, I would say about 8 of those years I spent trying, wanting or having this desire to want to get these people back, and I never knew why. I had forgave, and I had forgave, and I forgave, and I forgave, and I forgave, and then it became a thing where I was expected to forgive. You see what I'm saying? It became an expectation. So it's different when somebody wronged you and they didn't know that they wronged you. That's different. You know what I mean? But when somebody intentionally keeps wronging you to abuse you and to try to, keep you in a low vibrational energy because they have something spiritually that they want to attach to you, it's really hard. It's not easy, Matter of fact, the thing that they try to attach to you is low vibrational too. So they try to attach it to you and try to use your energy to try to keep you yourself oppressed. That way that they can, basically charge up the spirit and use this spirit to make all kind of wishes and stuff like that with. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to forgiveness, like I say, the biggest obstacle to forgiveness, it always, for me, I will say, it was forgiving somebody who intentionally, continuously kept doing the same thing over and over again. You know, but I would say how I overcame this obstacle without, giving out too much. I got to the point where you just get tired. You know, you get tired of the same game. You get tired of being hurt. You get tired of pain. You get tired of, this. You just get tired of this, whatever it is that it is. You just get tired of it. It's almost like, I'm not saying that they wear you down, but in a sense, that's exactly what happens. You start out with all this love and this light, and then you just get so, it's not your anger, because basically these misdeeds or these misactions or these misjudgments and things like that is done to you, at least in my experience, I'll just say me, that was done to me. It boiled down to the intention. Now, if somebody did a death spell and they wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I had people do all kind of death spells and stuff on me. I had people do all kind of evil eye. I had people do all kind of experimental spells and stuff on me and stuff like that, right? But I would say the part that was the most unforgivable was the fact that it was their intention. Like, they would intentionally connect to my energy with all this hurt and this pain and this anger and this unforgiveness in their hearts, and then they would project it to me every single day without rest. This person has been doing it for probably about four plus times a day for 10 years. That's something I had to calculate. You know what I'm saying? Now, the actual binding rituals and stuff like that they do, and stuff like that, normally that was like every lunar cycle, which is like 26 times a year, because you have the full moon, you have the new moon, right? And then you have an additional 12 moons where it's pretty much 39 moons, because there's a part of the moon where it's like, the root work, right? And that went on, and matter of fact, you had to multiply that by 2. So 39, pretty much 40 times 2 is like 78. And the reason why I say that is because it's always 3 days before the full moon, 3 days after the full moon, 3 days before the new moon, 3 days after the new moon. And then, of course, around I can't remember which moon phase it is, but it's one moon phase which is used particularly for root work, believe it or not. But I would say the hardest part about forgiveness is the intentions of the other person. That right there is just the hardest part about forgiveness. That this person intentionally did it. This person had the intentions to do it. That they had the intentions of whatever. Whatever it is, whatever reasoning that they have. Even if it's no reason at all. Even if they're not justified. That is the hardest part about forgiveness. However, the benefits of forgiveness is this. When it's kind of like if you're walking up a mountain path, and every single time someone does something wrong that pisses you off, you're picking up a rock. Or it's like somebody who's taking like a bucket of rocks, and as you're walking up this mountain, they're taking these rocks and they're just dumping it on your back. Eventually you get to a part of the mountain, you get to a part of your life, you get to a place or a space in your life where it's just like, you know what? I spent all this time being angry at this person, hatred at this person. I got back at this person comes right back. I've done this, I've done that. You know, you exhaust all your alternatives, right? And then you just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of caring. I'm tired, you know, because that unforgiveness comes from caring. Essentially, in order for you to not want to forgive somebody, you have to care. You have to care about what they did to you. You have to care about the hate that they send. You got to care about the intentions they have. You got to care about the fucked up shit they did to you, the fucked up shit they sent you through, the fucked up shit they threatened to do to you, the fucked up shit they laughed about you in your life, laughed about doing to you in your life. You have to care about that. But once you exhaust all that, and you look at it and you finally just say, you know what? I'm tired. It's too much. That's when you start forgiving. And that's what you do. You just forgive it. Just like, you know what? It's okay. I no longer have the desire to see you get your karma. That's forgiveness. I no longer have the desire to wait until you get what's coming to you to move on. That's forgiveness. I no longer have the desire to make you feel how I feel when you did what you did to me. That's forgiveness. All that, oh, karma gonna get you, karma gonna get you, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. That's not forgiveness. Because you still care. There's care connected to you waiting for something to happen to this person. And in that care, that's how they bind themselves to you. In order for them to keep that energy coming to you, you have to give a fuck. You have to care. On my journey, that's what I had to learn to do. You know, I had to tap into that energy of being selfish and selfless. You know, and a lot of this stuff that I do on the channel and a lot of stuff that I talk about, yeah, it's like selfish, it's selfless. And to some people, I may come off as like this perfect man or this saint or whatever, or like maybe I come off as like being high and mighty, you know. The only reason why I hold myself to a high standard is because I can't hold others to that standard. I can't hold you to that standard. Why? Because I've been where you know, for the most part, I've been where a lot of people have been. When it comes to that low vibrational energy and shit like that, I'm not saying that I've purged it, I'm perfect, I'm this or that. I've never said that. I never implied that. I never I never showboated that kind of energy. You know what I mean? The only reason why I'm in high vibration is because I went through so much shit, and all the shit that I went through, deep down in my heart, I basically, deep down in my heart, the entire time for the 10 years, I would pray prayers. It was like, God, I just pray to God that nobody else has to go through what I went through. And I prayed to God that whenever this is over, because it will be over, that God bless it, where the people who did what they did to me can never do it to anybody else ever again. I'm not talking about just in, you know, in this lifetime, but in all lifetimes going forward, that they'll never be able to do that to anybody else. And in the same breath, I didn't want it to happen to them, but I started to recognize my own strength in the process of it. And I'm not saying this makes it right, but I am saying that I started realizing I'm a lot stronger than what I thought I was, than what a lot of people thought I was. Does that make it right that I had to carry that kind of weight? No, it doesn't. Just because you make billions of dollars doesn't mean you should be obligated to pay other people's way, does it? No. That's not right. So, and I know I'm making this all about me and whatever, but this is something I need to get out. Okay. So, basically, I prayed that prayer for a long time, and after a while, I had already started working on myself, because there was a stuff in me that I did not like. I didn't like. It was stuff that I've seen in me that my dad, my grandfather did, my mother did, my grandmother, and I ended up essentially I hurt somebody that I truly, genuinely loved. And when I did that, from that point, I just like, you know what? I don't want to live the life where I hurt people I love, because that reminded me of somebody I didn't want to be. So I started my healing journey. And when I came across the people who did this, spell work or whatever, they knew me in my low vibrational energy. They did. They knew what I was. But whoever this is, they don't believe people can change, which is a blessing. You know why? Because that means you can't forgive yourself. You know that deep down, no matter what you do, you'll never be able to change. It's not, I had to realize a lot of stuff I went through wasn't a reflection of me. It's a reflection of unforgiveness. Somebody cared so much about where I was going that they took it upon themselves to try to throw me off. Somebody cared so much about me leaving them that they had to find a way to bind themselves to me, even if it required fighting or warfare every day. Somebody cared so much about me being at peace or joy, or, they cared so much about me progressing forward that they chose to hire other people to do what they can never do. And that's one thing I had to learn about in this journey, especially connected to unforgiveness and forgiveness, is that unforgiveness will make you do things you wouldn't ordinarily do. The people who did the spell work towards me, they made it into a game. And the worst thing you could do in terms of low vibrational things is turn it into a game. Because when you turn low vibrational things into a game, it convinces people that it's okay, that you're not human, that this is justified some kind of way, right? They dehumanize you. They'll dehumanize you just to make things fit, right? So that's where forgiveness comes in, because you're already fighting this long, drawn out battle with someone else. And you know what really drains you and what's really tiring you out? You have to fight with them, but most importantly, you have to fight with yourself. Should you get karma, get your lick back, or should you move on? Morals is gonna say move on. What you were taught, move on. Some people, get your lick back, right? Get your lick back. Hit that motherfucker back, you'll feel better. I hit that motherfucker back. And you know what happened when I hit that motherfucker back? When I hit that motherfucker back, like I wanted to hit that motherfucker back, they started losing, like, shit started coming out about them where motherfuckers was suffering. People losing businesses. People are dying. People that got mental disorders. People losing kids. People getting in accidents. It was all kind of shit that was going on around me. And this person would get mad when it happened to them, and they'll come right on back to try to start some more shit up. You know what I'm saying? So, like I was saying, you're already fighting with yourself. Should you get your lick back, or should you let it go? And in the process of that, trying to, figure that out, this person is still attacking you, still fighting you, or still doing whatever they were doing, still sending out these intentions towards you, whatever it may be, right? But while you're going back and forth, you're reducing your own power. Because if you're resolute in attacking back, you can do that. Go ahead. Be my guest. I'm not against that at all. A lot of people talk about, oh, don't get your lick. If getting your lick back helps you forgive, in my opinion, do it. Do it. How you forgive and how I forgive is two totally different forgivenesses. Two totally different ones. You know what I'm saying? And that was another thing, you know, me being Christian, you know, basically they tried to, you know, it was a lot of trying to abuse the morality of Christianity, because, you know, there's this notation that Christianity are like sheep, right? But in reality, Christianity is one of the bloodiest religions to follow. God has never been a passive God. God has ordained for his believers and followers to kill people. Our God has even killed children and babies. Yet people believe, oh, he's Christian or she's Christian, you can do this and do that. They're taught to turn the other cheek and this and that. Yeah, that's the New Testament. We are taught to turn the other cheek. That's true. But there's nothing in the Bible that doesn't say, thou shalt not defend thyself. People like to throw the commandments out there and say, oh, thou shalt not kill or whatever. No, that's not true. The original translation says, thou shalt not shed the blood of the innocent. That is the commandment. When you shed the blood of the innocent, that is a sin. When you attack somebody who didn't deserve it, that's a sin. That's the sin. There's somebody right now who did all of this shit just to get some attention, just to go on to a podcast or some kind of channel, just to say, hey, this person is this and that, and try to start a whole topic about it. A whole topic, you know? And that was part of the basis for their attacking, right? Now, when it comes to that forgiveness, like I say, these are just stones that was, you know, levied onto my back or whatever, you know, climbing up the mountain, whatever. You're going to get to a part of that mountain. You're going to come up to a place on that path where if you are to go any further, you can't carry them rocks with you. So what you going to do? Either you can let it go and forgive it then, or you're going to have to do it later. But if you want where it's at the top of that mountain or what's at the end of that journey, you have to let some shit go. You have to let some shit go. I think forgiveness was probably the hardest lesson that I had to learn. You know, I had an ex who poisoned me. Somebody paid her to poison me. Keep in mind, I'm working more longer than 40 hours a week. I had some days it was like 11 hours, you know what I'm saying? 11 hours times what? 5 days, about 50 to 60, maybe even something. Yes, 50 to 60 hours a week, right? She started off with 2 jobs. She went down to 1 job and then she just quit altogether, right? Lost her car, lost the apartment, you know what I'm saying? Because she was listening to somebody else. Thank God I had what I had to bring to the table, you know. So not only was I holding up, paying up all the bills at the house, you know, because at first it was 50-50. Oh, excuse me. Then, because, you know, yeah, at first it was 50-50. I didn't know why I was getting spiritually attacked, but I didn't know it had something to do with her. So I would say like the first month or whatever, you know, she was taking care of, you know, she would like give me money and stuff like that, you know, try to take care of me and all that other stuff, you know. And then I would say like a week or so after that, when no, a couple weeks after that, I was like, no, I can't just stay in somebody's house. So I went and I got me a job, started working. I happened to go outside and I looked at the back door, and that's when I realized that she was a part of the bullshit, because there was some glass gems that was surrounded around the back door. And at the time, I didn't know it was a love spell, essentially, because when I was at my home, those same gems was around my home, and I never knew what it was for, right? So yeah, it was like love binding spell. So her and whoever, love binding spell. Come to find out, her and somebody I lived nearby worked together. So they both was in on the shit to begin with, right? So I went to work. I would work, 50, 60 hours or whatever. And it, like I say, it went from 50-50 splitting the bills and stuff like that, to her, going bankrupt, doing the bankruptcy. And she put the apartment into bankruptcy and stuff like that, thinking, because I guess somebody told her that if she put apartment in bankruptcy, we wouldn't have to pay rent and all that other stuff. And I'm just like, you ain't gonna live nowhere for free. You know what I mean? I gave her money for the rent, because I was taking care of the rent and she was supposed to take care of the utilities. And me as a man, I'm like, okay, I'll take care of the rent and you take care of the utilities. Okay, cool. That was our little 50-50. Keep in mind, neither one of us is really there all the time. So, long story short, it got to the point where I was taking care of all the bills. She wouldn't cook, she wasn't clean, she was never there. She used my car, she crashed my car, totaled my car after she got hers repossessed. And I should have knew something was wrong, because when mine got, because at first, I had missed my payment on my car, because I had to make sure I paid rent. You know what I mean? And they came and took my shit, and she came in there laughing and giggling, kikiing and shit. And I'm just like, damn, but come to find out, she was my aunt. I took care of her. I did, the best that I could. I would, when she was down, give her advice. When she was feeling bad, because I already knew I was going through my thing, but I didn't want it to leak over into her, not knowing she was a part of this shit, right? So come to find out, she was paid to kill me for an insurance policy. Yeah. She stopped cooking, stopped cleaning. When it came to sex and stuff like that, wasn't there. But I stayed faithful. I stayed working. I stayed doing what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? I didn't cheat. After I told her I didn't want to be with her no more, and I had to put her ass out on the street, because I had to put her ass out on the street. I told her 4 months in advance that she had to find somewhere to go. So if she ever say some shit like, oh, he just put me, no. You knew 4 months in advance. Hey, I need to do this, I need to do that. I gotta let you go. You know what I'm saying? I don't, because I already told her I didn't want to be in a relationship with her, nothing like that with her no more. And I guess that she thought it was just a separation, but it wasn't. It wasn't. If I'm gonna do this shit, I might as well do it by my damn self. Soon as I start putting her ass out, as soon as I put her out, as soon as I start detaching my energy from her, as soon as we stop having sex like that and stuff like that. Matter of fact, the day that she poisoned me, which I didn't know at first, I thought it was a voodoo spell that they did, but no, it was poison. She got paid to poison me. And when she poisoned me, they were doing voodoo spell work and stuff on me too, because they were supposed to get some kind of cash out for an insurance policy, right? When I died, which I did die, I did. When I died, guess who I saw? I saw Lord Shiva. That's who I went to go meet. Lord Shiva himself. So if you don't believe he's real, he's real. I went and met Lord Shiva himself. He met me in the afterlife, in the hallways of the afterlife. And he was meditating. He was asleep. And I asked Lord Shiva, I said, you know what? With all this chaos around, how do you stay so peaceful? How do you do that? And had I finished crossing over, I don't think I would have came back, because I saw the door to my ancestors' temple, the hallway. But I decided to talk to Shiva instead. Next thing you know, I came back to consciousness and I woke up and my energy was totally different. So technically I'm already dead. I died a long time ago. But the people who did the spill work don't know that. But they also don't know what they were woken inside of me. There's something otherworldly that woke up inside of me that day. And they're learning about it now. Unfortunately. The thing that awoken inside of me guided me through the path of peace. I never knew why until now. Why? And it was because there was two parts to Lord Shiva's energy. There's the peaceful aspect, and then there's the God of destruction, which is essentially what these people were trying to awaken inside of me, the God of destruction. The energy that I awoken with has the power to destroy worlds. Not just their world, but worlds. This isn't something that you fuck around with. This ain't some shit that you fuck around and find out. There's a practitioner right now that's on her deathbed dying. And I wanted her to die slowly. And it was. She's dying slowly because I wanted her to savor each and every dying breath until she's done. And all I had to do was pray and ask for that. That's it. That was it. So right now, this person is still going to try to push me because they want to see it. They want to prove it to the world. That's what it is. But what saved me was forgiveness. It got to the point where I could kick these people's asses all day long, every day, all day. Every day, all day. But I chose not to because, like I said, after all the dark shit that I went through, it gave me a chance to look into the souls, into like the capacity for darkness in people. If I was to go that route, it would have been a never-ending cycle of hatred and anger. I would have been angry all the time. People who come to love me, I would have been angry. People who came to help me, I would have been angry. Nah. The way I see it, I think I've experienced enough hatred for everybody, which is why I'm on the path that I'm on now. I choose peace not because, you know, it's superficial, but because deep down, I don't want the next generation to go through it. I don't want children of Yamaye to go through it. I don't want children of Ogun to go through it. I don't want children of Batala to go through it. I don't want children of Hecate to go through it. I don't want children of all these other religions to go through this kind of shit. And it has nothing to do with who you believe in. It has everything to do with who you are as a human being, as a being. Everybody who uses voodoo isn't dark. Everybody who use hoodoo isn't dark. Everybody that does Wicca isn't dark. Everybody that does, whatever witchcraft you believe in, Kabbalah, whatever. Everybody isn't dark. But when you go through certain shit and, you're being attacked by a certain group that continuously follow you or continuously try to make it a point to keep you from healing your heart, keep you from healing your mind, keep you from healing in general, because they're hell-bent on destroying you. It's not easy. It's not easy. But I'm going to tell you the benefits of it, though. When I forgave, I've had the pleasure of meeting way more entities and energies than I could ever imagine had I held on to this kind of energy. I've had fairies. I mean, it may sound weird, because, but I've had all kind of like, I would say like, we call them false gods in Christianity, but I call them spirits. I had all kind of spirits that come to me. When I learned how to forgive, I forgave myself, because for the longest, I guess I was projecting that unforgiveness. At first, I thought I was projecting my unforgiveness, but in reality, it wasn't. However, I'm glad that it happened, because it taught me to examine my own unforgiveness. So I started thinking about all the stuff that I had done in my life that I felt was unforgivable. And I'm not saying poof, be gone, it's forgiven. No. It takes time, even with yourself. But what I had to learn was, like, after I did all this healing work on myself and I was just, healing. I looked up and I realized when I learned to heal myself, I was more receptive to other people who claim that they changed and that they healed too. The only people in this world that have that can't forgive other people are people who've never forgiven themselves for something, no matter what they say. I realized that I became a mirror, and that's what I am, a mirror. I am the mirror in which I look. When you forgive, it's like, when you forgive, there's stages of it, right? Now, like I say, once you make it up that mountain, even forgiveness is a path. Once you make it up that mountain of forgiveness, where it's like you are indiscriminate on if they get whatever back or whatever. Once you get to that, that's how you know you've really healed and that you forgave them. My ex had really bad asthma. And, well, I'll put it like this. I don't think this was the first time, that was the first time that she tried to poison me, I was angry and I wanted to destroy her. I really did. But you know what really stopped me from doing that was the fact that I realized that I never loved her. I never loved her to begin with. I think that will probably be the biggest blow to her ego. Thinking that she did something to somebody that, loved her, to realize they never loved you to begin with. At one point, I thought I did, and I did everything I could, because I wanted to give my best, and I told her, like, oh, this is, but then I realized I didn't love her like I said I loved her. And that was because anytime she threatened to kill herself or whatever, because she did do that. She threatened to kill herself if we broke up. She threatened to do this, to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I fell for it. True love doesn't have to fall for that kind of shit. That's true love. But once I started forgiving, when I started healing, and she would say that, I would just say, you know what? Okay, go ahead. That's how you feel, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. Because I love myself too much to let you control me with stuff like that. So yeah, she was, and when it comes to forgiveness, when you do finally learn how to forgive, it's going to increase your light, your love capacity, and it'll open you up to being able to tap into different energies. And when I say tap into different energies, for those of you who believe in that or not, it's basically like when you tap into new energies, I'm not going to say new abilities, but there's new understandings that awaken inside of you. The abilities is already there, you know what I'm saying? But your understanding of it, or understanding how it works, unlocks. We all have all abilities. It's just that until we learn how to understand it, it's like you never have it. So this is the energy that God kind of wants us to be in. All tied up in reverse, see? Let it go. There's a reason why God always teaches us about, forgiveness, or to forgive, or why Jesus Christ came to teach us forgiveness. There was a reason for it. The reason why forgiveness is so important in Christianity is because when you are filled with unforgiveness, it causes you to do things from your ego. When you do things from your ego, that blocks the blessings that God has in store for you. It is better to surrender it. And remember, we talked about surrendering. You know what I'm saying? Your spiritual energy, your spiritual prowess, your connection to God, your connection to whoever you serve is only as strong as what you're willing to surrender to that. Surrender. When I learned how to forgive, that's when the attacks increased. That's when it increased. That's when it became even more repetitive. But still, I learned to forgive. But then I got to the point, because like I say, you remember I was telling you guys about the spectrum, right? About how everything leads to from one another. Forgiveness leads to unforgiveness and all that good stuff. In the purest form of forgiveness, you get to the point where you learn that there is unforgiveness. And when you learn that there's unforgiveness, this is the aspect or the form that unforgiveness take. Basically, it's saying like, I could forgive you as much as I want, but until you forgive yourself, it doesn't matter if I forgive you or not, because you're still going to keep doing the same thing. It doesn't, a lot of times, it has nothing to do with us, especially when in terms of forgiveness. I could forgive somebody 1,000 times. Matter of fact, I've survived so many threats to my family included. This person threatened to put curses on my family. This person threatened to put curses on people I loved. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it wasn't working, when what they were doing wasn't working. Yeah. And guess what? I forgave it. Wasn't easy, but I forgave it. But then I realized, like, I could keep forgiveness, and this could go on for all eternity of me forgiving somebody over and over and over and over and over again, right? But I can't truly forgive you unless you truly are ready to be forgiven. So you know what I did? I saved my energy. My enemies right now possibly they're going through some shit. They're going through some shit. And a lot of the stuff that they're going through is derived in me forgiving them. That's how they're trying to get out of the karma. Oh, maybe if he forgives us. But in reality, they're not ready for forgiveness. That's why God does that's something I had to understand. Like, that's why God does what he do. That's why, when we go see God, and we ask for something, if we're not ready for it, he's not going to give it to us. So whether this person asks for the forgiveness or not, if they're not ready for it, you can't give it to them. You can forgive it in yourself. You can forgive them. But, when it comes to them, coming to you, or you going to them to personally forgive them on all that stuff, like to yourself, you might say, you know what, I just forgive it all, just let it go, whatever, and keep it moving, right? Now them, when they come in to try to get the forgiveness, you know what I'm saying? Because you get some people who are like hell bent on, it's like they're addicted to being forgiven. That's an addiction too. You know what I'm saying? But it's like this. Until that person is genuinely ready to be forgiven, that's when you can truly forgive them. But until then, sometimes you have to give yourself the forgiveness. And you have to give yourself the forgiveness by forgiving them without them knowing that they've been forgiven. Because a lot of people, once they know that you forgave them, they'll go back and they'll do the same thing over and over again. So right now, my enemies are fighting me for something I had already gave them. But because they don't feel worthy enough to have it, guess what? They'll never have it. They'll never have it. Even if I forgave them right here and right now on camera, you know what's going to happen? They're going to take that energy. They're going to go back. They're going to think about it. It's going to fester inside of them. And they're going to bring that shit right on back within the next hour. Less than that. They try to make it seem like, oh, it'll be a lot easier for you if you just forgive it and let it go. And then they come back and fight again. This time, I choose not to forgive it. Not like that. This time, I choose to forgive what I did to put myself in that cycle. This time, I choose to forgive where I release it, but you're not welcome back into my energy. With every forgiveness I give, you are blocked, binded, and removed from my energy, forever returning. You and anyone who has affiliation with you in any way, shape, or form. That's my forgiveness. That's my way of forgiving. But the reason why we forgive is because, like I said, the same energy it takes to go get somebody back or to do all this other stuff, guess what? That's the space that God needs to operate out of to make your life better, to take you to that next level, to get you where you need to be, take you where you need to go. That's why Jesus Christ is saying, you know what, I'm here, and the best way you could do it is to protect your heart and forgive. Just let it go. This is the energy connected to it. Crown games, right use of power, right? God is based with this here. And I know it's a lot of people that, don't understand this, but with crown games, right use of power, This basically boils down to somebody who is hell-bent on keeping you going in your head in circles about if you should forgive or not, or what's forgivable or not. Because when I was in my spiritual warfare, there's this person, this group, wanted to do some kind of damage to me or take me to the limits of something where it was the most unforgivable thing possible. They wanted me to hold on to something which they knew that, you know, or felt like I could never forgive them, because that was their way of using dark magic to cord themselves to me through unforgiveness, through hurt, through pain. That's what this was. If that is true, you're the one, you have to be in that energy to send that energy out. So wouldn't it make more sense that you're just cording that shit back to yourself? If I'm a reflection of you, God created me in his image. And that's exactly what God is telling you. You were created in the Creator's image. You are, and when you look at other people, you look at the image of God. When other people look at you, they see the image of God. They see an aspect, an attribute of God in you. When you forgive and you choose to forgive, doors open up for you. Doors that you could never imagine open up for you. When you detach and stop giving your emotional energy into things that don't serve you, doors open up. Right now, there's a door that is waiting to be opened by him. There's a door that's open. And that's what all of this unforgiveness had been about this entire time. Somebody wanted you to act out of your lower self to block your own blessing, to keep yourself out of this, to self-sabotage. But there's so many energies that want to work with you. There's so many things that want to be given to you. There's so much that aspires towards your energy right now. You're magnetic. Whoever I'm talking to, your energy, you're magnetic to something great. Your energy is magnetic to something great. And unforgiveness is designed to demagnetize your energy from what serves you. And that's exactly what this person wants to do. They want to demagnetize your energy with hatred, anger, pain. This person went so far at one part of the spiritual warfare that I remember. They tried to like do a whole bunch of like mental magic where it's like OCD and like, you know, PTSD and shit like that. But also at the same time, this person worked at like a hospital or a hospice, right? And the patients and stuff in there, in order to get a smooth night, this person made a voodoo doll and was like enchanting different shit with my energy, so that when these patients was like interact with certain shit, it was designed to like, you know, trigger my energy some kind of way, where it would like do like an energy exchange, you know, channeling the energy kind of thing. But you know, I peeped it and it kind of like opened my eyes up to, like I said, a whole bunch of people having a whole lot of problems. Nobody gets away with anything. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody gets away with anything. What is to come to you will come. That's good and bad. That's why I open myself up to whatever's to come to me. If something bad comes to me, if that's what God had in store for me, then that's what it's gonna be. If it's something good, and that's what God has in store for me, then that's what it's gonna be. All this fighting and, you know, thinking all these mind games basically to try to keep you stuck, or try to keep you stuck in your head, or whatever it may be. It's like, it don't serve you. These people can, you know, the people, if you're going through spiritual warfare, they can never go where you're going. Why? Because they're holding the rocks, and they're too stupid to know they got to let those rocks go to get where you're going. That's why. So when it comes to, like I say, when it comes to forgiveness, it's not easy. It's gonna take it take practice. You know what I'm saying? It take practice. I can't say that I have a specific technique. I can't even really give advice on how to do it. It's just something that you learn. It's something you learn on your own. Lip service don't do it. Because when that same thing comes back around, guess what? It's gonna trigger you again. Yeah. So like I say, yeah, the overall message today has to do with like forgiveness and stuff like that. How much time I got? Oh man, I did a whole hour. I didn't even realize I did a whole hour. Yeah, so yeah, basically, if you are dealing with some kind of bond or bind or something like that, or someone doing like work on you, work, whatever it may be, and it's designed to keep you stuck, your best bet in order to move forward is forgiveness. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Yeah. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. And that's another thing why I said, you know, I had to do the forgiveness, is because I know if I had spazzed out and I went looking for these people, they got kids, they got moms and dads, stuff like that. And usually, you don't care. But in the same breath, you don't want to hurt the wrong person either, trying to get to somebody who don't technically exist. If I got a problem with somebody, I'll tell them, or I'll make it known. I'll be upfront about it. Well, generally, I'm upfront about people I have a problem with. You gonna know, because when I talk to you or interact with you, you gonna know. You gonna feel it, right? You gonna feel it. Now, people who I don't have a problem with, they feel it. They know I don't have a problem with them. So, as an adult, though, I know I could talk. I'll talk that shit out, whatever. But yeah, that's what this forgiveness thing is about. Until you or whoever learn how to forgive, that the same energy or the same space that unforgiveness occupies in your life is the same space that is required for healing, for your blessings and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like if you had a house and every room is filled up with like stuff. In order to like get new stuff, you might have to just cleanse the whole house, like declutter everything, right? And start all over. And that's what forgiveness does. It allows you to declutter your heart and start over. So when you are ready for a new beginning, or when you feel like you need a new beginning, you could do a new beginning at any time. Anytime. As much as you want. As many times as you want. But in order for you to do that, it's going to require you to forgive or to let go. We see this even in chemistry. In nuclear fission and fusion, when two atoms try to occupy the same space, what happens? Mass is lost. And then there's a strong energetic output. That loss of mass is the loss that is connected to forgiveness. Forgiveness is nothing but release. Even with nuclear fission, when you're forcing two things together, when you're pulling something completely apart, you know what I mean? When you pull it completely apart, guess what? Mass is lost. But there's a strong energy, it has a strong, powerful, energetic release. And that's exactly what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is like that nuclear fission or nuclear fusion. It's an energetic release. When you release, your energy goes up. So you are only as strong is what you're willing to forgive in your life. You're only as strong as what you're willing to forgive. And in terms of the person or the people or the organization that kept attacking me or whatever, and them trying to find something, the most unforgivable thing that they could do to me, they wasn't expecting me to forgive them for it. So every day it's a journey to try to find what is unforgivable to do to this person, so that they can, court some kind of attachment, of course. And that's all this is really about. It's like, basically the way that the spell work was working was that this person would come in, try to piss me off, or try to give me a nasty energy, or have me overthinking, or whatever it may be, so that they could throw an energy cord onto me and start draining off like finances or love, or you know what I'm saying, this and that, you know what I'm saying. So this may be part of you, what you got going on too. But essentially, that's part of what this person was doing. So not only that, they were like swapping out karma, swiping out juju, swapping, just swapping a whole bunch of energy. So basically, they had all these people pull in like money and stuff like that to pay, certain people to do certain things to me in my life. Now imagine going to work and your supervisor just comes up and does something so fucked up to you out of the blue for no reason, or comes up and reminds you of something that puts you in a low vibrational energy. When they do that, these people are waiting and watching, and then they start throwing cords and stuff like that into your energy to try to, because basically when you're in a low vibrational energy, your protection, your energy, it goes down a little bit. So they hurry up and do that, and they try to cord themselves in, and then they start draining off your energy. They do all kind of blockages and shit like that, Matter of fact, one realization that I had was that there was somebody out here who was creating voodoo dolls of people and selling it to other witches and warlocks, so that they could tap into people's energies and shit like that online. They were auctioning people off through voodoo dolls. Yeah, auctioning people off, through voodoo dolls. Where we see that in sex trafficking rings, especially in North Africa. Because essentially what happens is, when you buy a sex slave in North Africa, one of the popular ways of keeping that person under control was they force these people into blood oath contracts where they can never speak on or talk about what happened to them and what they were subjected to, or even snitch on who owns them and stuff like that. And then once that happens, when they go to auction and stuff like that, what they do is they're auctioning off the person, and they give the owner, whoever buys it, the voodoo doll. They teach them how to use it and manipulate it. And when they're manipulating and doing it and stuff like that, they make sure that, you can never leave and you can never free yourself from it. That's the way it's designed to be. There's somebody who took that ideology and they tried to incorporate it in the group of those who are fighting with me now. They, make voodoo dolls of people and stuff like that, and they've been selling it. And then they to like other witches and warlocks, and even just other people who just like curio and shit like that, right? Yeah. So, and depending on who it is, some people, they'll just pay to watch you do different stuff. And that's exactly what it was too. There's some people who was just paying because they just wanted to watch and see somebody go through something. There was another person who plays with themselves when they do that. This is a person in authority that's been paying this group to do this, because they like to play with themselves to watch people go through stuff. Yeah, there's people out here like that. This particular person goes to a brothel. Basically, it's a brothel. But this brothel, like the one in Wisconsin, is connected to a dark occult group where essentially they try to get consent, but they don't always get consent of people. So what they do is they make these voodoo dolls of people and turn them into like sex slaves and stuff like that, and do sex shows and stuff like that. They've done it with kids. They've done it, and you know, they've done it with a lot of people, a lot of kids, adults, people not knowing what's going on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's how, you know, yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, that's about it. So basically, and another thing that I wanted to touch upon was like, not every person who buy them dolls and stuff like that is a straight person. Sometimes they, you know, and like in my circumstance situation, a gay man. This is a gay. It was a gay man that helped my ex do this. He did. It's a gay man who was covering up the fact that he's gay. Okay, and one of my exes got mad because I broke up with him, and they went to a practitioner to have this shit done, right? So once, you know, the practitioner started working on it, they started doing little shit. It started off small, right? And then eventually it started building up, right? But then eventually this person got my other exes involved, okay? And that's when they started, you know what I'm saying, doing all kind of spell work. And to be honest with you, I genuinely believe that my ex, well, a couple of my exes and the people that were affiliated here are responsible for my mother's death. Because the same, and at first I couldn't prove it, but now the proof that I have, everything that they have been doing to me is starting to happen to them. And one of the people in the group is starting to die from cancer the same exact way my mother died from cancer. Yeah. So that tells me right there that whoever in that group that has cancer was responsible for, you know, doing a death spell on my mother. And then my brother, he died of an accident. Whoever did that, or whoever's responsible for that, or whatever it is, if this group is responsible for whatever it is, whatever they did that was affiliated or connected to it, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. There's gonna be an accident. An accident. There's gonna be one. But yeah, that's all I got for this reading. The next one isn't gonna be so, you know, I think the next one I might do something different, you know. I gotta take my mind off of this old energy, you know what I mean? So yeah, the next reading I think I'm gonna do something different. All right, I love y'all all. Y'all take it easy and peace.